Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it, man. All right, real quick. What grade are we working with over here? Feel like eighth grade. All right. Juniors, seniors, sophomores. Awesome. Well, really cool to be here. It's kind of COVID time is pretty crazy. Like I was telling the guys last night, this is first time I've talked since January. Or last night was, which is weird, but also cool that you guys are here. So I want to make this as impactful as possible for you guys in this little bit of time we have. I'm going to share a lot of things that our professional and big league players do to be successful at the big league level. We all know that talent and ability is only one piece of the puzzle. The mental side is really the separator when it comes to the difference between good and great baseball players. So everyone's going to be a little bit different. There's no cookie cutter way. I wish I could just say, like, do this and you will be elite and go reach all your wildest dreams in professional baseball, but it's just not that simple. So take what I say, figure out what that means to you, what you've done in the past, and hopefully we come away from tonight with one or two things that can make you a better baseball player like tomorrow. So I'm going to talk for about 4 or 5 hours, and then you guys will have a couple hours to ask questions, and then we'll probably have you out of here by the time the sun's going up. I'll try to keep mine to an hour, and then you guys can ask questions, okay? But if anything doesn't make sense in the moment, like raise your hand and let's just knock it out as we go. All right? Make sense? Cool. Okay, so first let's define mental skills. Mental skills is simply thinking about the right thing at the right time. All right, if we can get ourselves to think about the right thing at the right time, then we're going to have a pretty good chance of being consistently good at this sport. The problem is there's a million different distractions, right? There's a million different things that take us out of the moment. Negative thoughts, umpires, a million different things. We'll get into that a little bit later. So I want to hear from you guys real quick before we jump into it. It's a smaller group. If you could get one thing out of this talk tonight, what would it be? Like even if I could just magically say, like, boom, you have a better two-strike approach and never struggle with two strikes, like whatever, what would you want to take away from tonight? If I could give you the secret key to anything. I'm not magic, but if I could, let's just say I was, what would you want to learn tonight? What would you want to walk away with? Let's start. Someone in, How to hit a dinger. All right, dingers, great. We can work on that. What else? Someone over here. Fielding. What about it? You're good. Staying dialed in fielding. All right. Being locked in mentally on defense. Big. Dingers. What else? Yeah. Huh? Say again? Approach? Like good approach. Every time, consistent approach, walk up to the plate. Yes? Awesome. Love that. All right, let's hear from someone over here. Consistency. Awesome. All right, consistency. Huh? All right, no, it's all good. All right, so consistency is a big one, right? We all want to be clutch. We all want to be like the guy that comes through in the biggest moments. But the reality is, the best players that play at the highest level for the longest time, the game of baseball is an up and down game. That's a given. But the players that play the longest time learn to be up and down like this instead of like this, right? And that's where the consistency comes in. And honestly, that's where the mental game makes the biggest difference, because does your ability to play the game and your skill set go like this? Anybody? Is your ability really changing? Like one day I'm the best player in the world, and the next day, like, I really suck and I can't hit? Like, no. Like, the game of baseball is hard, so that's gonna cause some of it. But then it's your mental game. Like, how consistently can we be locked in when we're at the plate, when we're on the mound, when we're in the field? All right. So, I have a question for you guys. Roughly, how many seconds do you think are in between pitches at the big league level? So a pitch is thrown. By the time pitcher gets ball back, gets back on the mound, throws the next pitch, how many seconds do we think in between pitches on average in the big league level? Just throw it out here. 20. What else? 25. 10, 15? Anyone else? Who said 15 over here? Ding, ding, ding. 15. 15's a winner. So on average, we have 15 seconds in between pitches at the big league level. So at the end of those 15 seconds, that's where people get paid, right? In all reality, whatever you do with those first 14 seconds doesn't really matter if you can be completely locked in at that last second. And we call that party time. You know, when we're releasing the pitch, we're getting ready to hit. So it's all about, can we own those 15 seconds? Because if we're not owning the first 14, it's really hard to own the last second that really, really matters. So we call that, with the Mariners, we call it the funnel. So it's like a funnel. If you put water into a funnel, it swirls down and then it ends up in the same spot. That's the goal. A good mental routine in the batter's box, a good mental routine on the mound, takes those 15 seconds, keeps our mind occupied, focus on what it needs to focus on, and brings us out at the end of that funnel, completely locked in, dialed in, ready to compete at the highest level. Now, that sounds great, awesome, Franco. We want to compete, we want to win, we want to get to the bottom of the funnel. But what does that really mean? So, just to demonstrate something, we need a who thinks they have a pretty good autograph? Like little kid comes in right now with the baseball. Okay, my approach guy, come on up. What's your name? Cade. Awesome, Cade. Thank you. All right, so Cade, grab this blue marker over here for me, please. And if you guys have something to write on, you can do this too. So grab your notepads out. If not, just watch your buddy and see what it is. Okay, Cade, I want you to put your autograph right here, just across this way. Yep, just autograph. So top of your paper, autograph. Give your signature. Whatever you sign on the top of your papers in school or whatever, autograph. Okay, fantastic. Cade is ready for the big leagues. All right, I'll show you this in a second. All right, second, do same autograph right below it. So one more autograph right below it. So one more. Do we need to show the group that? All right, we'll get to that in a second. Okay, awesome. You guys ready to see this? Fantastic. All right, this is what we're working with. It is what it is. I have no idea what your last name is right now. I think it starts with the N, but I'm not sure. What's your last name? Nowinski. Okay, fantastic. Never would have got that in a million years. Okay, all right, we're going to do a third autograph now, right below the first two, but. The third one, the catch is the third one has to be exactly like the first one. So take your time, and so it's a little darker here. You got the little line there. It has to be exactly like the first one. Once you start, you can't stop. Go. Take your time, exactly. Exactly. You guys do it on your paper too. Oh, no erasers. Can we get security? Get him out of here. No erasers. Astros fan, probably. Too soon? Sorry. We're not recording, are we? Shoot. Cut that out. Okay. All right. Not bad. Whose third signature is exactly like the first? Dead on. I really want to see what's on your paper right now. We're going to get there in a second. Whose is dead on, really, really good? All right. Not many people. Cade actually did a pretty good job here. Pretty good job. Cade, what's closer to the first, your third or your second?
Third. Wait, which is
Yeah, you closer to the first. Pretty close. You did a good job. You're kind of messing this up for me. But so most people, your second signature is closer to the first than your third signature. All right, and the reason is, thank you, Cade. You can sit down. Quick round of applause for Cade and his crazy autograph. Good job, Cade. Cade, one more question. What were you thinking on the second signature? Yeah, you're just thinking about writing. That's you weren't thinking anything, right? Why? You've already done it. You know how to do it. You've already practiced it. It is what it is. You just do it, right? The third one, the second we get over mechanical and we take extra time and we try to recreate and recreate that perfect swing, recreate that perfect pitch, get too mechanical, that's when things usually break down and we have a really hard time having success. The goal, the bottom of the funnel that we're talking about, the goal of getting to the bottom is this second signature. This is the type of swing you want to take. This is the type of pitch you want to throw when you're on the mound. It's that pitch where we're not trying to duplicate something. We're not trying to get a result. We're not getting over mechanical. We're not overthinking it. We're just letting it happen. The second we get in a baseball game, the second we get in the batter's box, we get on the mound, it's not practice time anymore. There's no time to, we're not trying to get better. We already said our skill set is what it is. The only thing that matters in the moment is letting our ability come out. The problem with the bad mental game is we usually get in our own way where things aren't going well, and so then we get mechanical. We start overthinking. We start over-evaluating, over-trying, trying to recreate the perfect pitch, the perfect swing, when in all reality, we just need to see the ball and let it happen. Like what Cade was thinking about on this second signature. Nothing. He's just letting it happen. He already practiced it. That's the goal. So that is what the bottom of the funnel is. That's what it represents. And the key is, if you can get to the bottom of the funnel as many times as possible, you're going to be as good a player as you possibly can be. That's where you find out what the best version of yourself looks like. Does that make sense? I think if you ask any player, and I'll ask somebody right now. Dinger guy. When you're going well, think about a time where you're just crushing it. I assume you're a hitter, or probably. And you want to hit dingers or give up dingers? I should have asked. Hit dingers. Okay. All right. Let's put it in your pitching context for now. When you're pitching really, really well, in general, what are you thinking about in the mound? When you're just in the zone getting after guys, what do you think? Huh? The next hitter. That's it. You're living in the moment. You're doing it. Are you thinking about where my load is, what my front hip is doing, keeping my front shoulder in, keeping my glove? No. All right? Most baseball players, when they're in the zone, when they're playing at their best, they're not thinking. They'll say, I don't know what I was thinking about. And so they're focused on is this pitch right now, hitting this ball right now. That second signature, that is the goal of the funnel. All right? All right, we got to erase this now. Okay. Let's talk about the specifics that go into the funnel. Like I said earlier, there's no cookie cutter approach, but I've been doing this long enough and have been fortunate enough to work with a lot of big league players, all-stars, World Series MVPs, that kind of stuff, and you start seeing patterns, right? Not everyone's the same, but there's a lot of similarities you start seeing. So I'm going to give you guys tonight kind of the 4 things that make up most players' funnels. You can write it down, and then you can kind of figure it out, tweak it for yourself, but I'm going to give you a home base tonight that will help you kind of figure out what the ideal funnel for you is to get you down to party time consistently, get you that second signature swing and second signature pitch to come out consistently. All right? It's a little awkward drawing up here, but it is what it is. I'm mentally tough. We'll be all right. Okay. Here's our funnel. Okay. Party time's down there in the circle. Okay. First, top of the funnel. 15 seconds starts up here. 15-second funnel. How do we do the 5? Yeah, 15. That's tough, upside down 5. I'll work on that next time. Okay, 15 seconds. First thing on top, L, learn. We learned something from the pitch before. As a pitcher on the mound, you learn something from the hitter. As a hitter, you learn something from the pitcher. It can be as simple as oh man, that fastball has some cut to it. It's moving, it's moving away from me. Or it can be, hey, that was a wild pitch, and now I got a runner on second. Nobody out. I'm probably gonna maybe try to hit behind the runner or move him over or something like that. Always something to learn. Now, show of hands. You don't even have to raise your hand, but you can raise your hand if you want to. How many of you guys tend to overthink? You're the overthinker. You overanalyze. You overthink what's going on. Okay, common. Happens a lot. I appreciate the honesty of the hands going up. If you tend to be an overthinker, learn can derail your entire 15 seconds. So in reality, it should be like a 2 or 3 second thing of your funnel. But what happens for the overthinkers, overanalyzers, the more intellectual guys is learn takes up the entire 15 seconds. You get down here, you haven't got control, you don't have a plan, or you haven't committed to anything, and you're just still learning, and then here we go. All right. So I would say if learn trips you up and you're over analyzing and getting like too deep in thought in the game, I would just take it out completely for now. Because honestly, until you get to the higher levels, this is by far like the least important in my opinion. Okay. All right. So now we're going to get down to the next one. This is control. And I'm not going to write it upside down because we already tried that with 15. It didn't go well. So control. Who has an idea of how we can get control of our mind and our body in the batter's box or on the mound? Who's got any thoughts on this? What do you think? Perfect. Yes, exactly. Breathing. Deep breath. You just took a deep breath. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Yes, perfect. All right. That was it. So breathing, huge way we can get control of our mind and our body. Now, there are other ways. Some guys, their form of control is they'll clean the batter's box. You know, the batter, they'll just clean it like this. Some pitchers will clean the rubber, and that will kind of signify, you know, when I swipe the dirt off the rubber, clean my head, step on the mound, like that's their form of getting under control. When we get in the bigger moments in games, late in the game, winning run on base, and I'm either on the mound or at the plate, our heart rate tends to speed up, and our thoughts tend to speed up, okay? Scientifically, the fastest way to slow our heart rate down is to breathe. Take a deep breath, let it out. That slows our heart rate down, that slows our mind down. Vice versa, we slow our mind down, we slow our heart rate down, and then we're in a better position to compete. We're in a better position to be in the mode. We're in a better position we're in control, and now we get our plan, all right? Gosh, this is bad. I said I wasn't going to try to write it. All right, plan. Where my pitchers at? We got another pitcher over here. Yeah. So if I'm your catcher and I call fastball away for you, what do you think a good plan would be for you on this pitch? Execute a fastball away. Exactly. Nailed it. Like, it doesn't have to be more complicated than that when we're on the mound. Like, that is your plan. My plan is not strike this guy out. It's not get a double play. It's not throw 7 shutout innings tonight. Like, my plan is executing this pitch. Now, hopefully, if I execute this pitch, that'll give me the best chance of getting the strikeout. Or if I execute this breaking ball, it'll give me the best chance of getting someone to roll over a ground ball and turn a double play. But, like, we have to execute the pitch. It's that simple. Like, our plan is executing this pitch right now. Now, as a hitter, where are my hitters at? No hitters? All pitchers? A couple hitters? Okay. All right, there we go. It's what do I want, what pitch am I looking for, in what location, and what I'm trying to do, where I'm trying to hit it. All right, now that's an important part of this plan is where I want to hit it. Quick story about Nelson Cruz. Who knows who Nelson Cruz is? All right, that's good. We had one dad last night who was really upset about Nelson costing the Rangers World Series a few years back, and he let us all know about it. But Nelson also played for the Mariners recently, got to hang out with him a decent amount, and amazing individual, still hitting tons of home runs for the Twins. He's on fire right now. Nelson has a great story. When he was coming up through the minor leagues, I believe it was with the Baltimore Orioles, he was having a really hard time sticking in the big leagues. He had a lot of success in the minor leagues, but every time he got to the big leagues, he would struggle. He would go up and down, and they finally came to him after a couple years of up and down. They said, Nelson, we want to make you a pitcher. So we're going to send you down to low A, and you're going to have to start all over and be a pitcher. And he said, all right, I'll do that, but do you think you could give me like 1 month to just hit however I want to hit? And then if it doesn't work out after that 1 month, like I'll go be a pitcher, no big deal. So they said, fine, we'll give you 1 month. And all throughout his career, he had a really hard time. He would pull the ball too much. So he would smash balls, but a lot of times they'd go foul, and then he'd be susceptible to pitches away, and he would just struggle to strike out way too much. And one of his teammates came to him a couple days earlier and said, hey, man, have you ever tried to just, like, hit the ball in the right center field gap and, like, make that your approach? And he's like, no, dude, I've never tried it. I just try to, hit tanks, hit dingers to left field. And so in that 1 month, he just fully committed. He said, you know what, I'm just going to try to hit line drives in the right center field gap, into the oppo gap. And lo and behold, he went off. He got called up to the big leagues. He had a great rest of the season. And he went on to be Nelson Cruz, making $100+ million and being one of the best power hitters of his generation. And he had stuck with that approach was a game changer. And so what it did was when he struggled, he was pulling off baseballs a lot. And I've watched a lot of high school baseball, and I can guarantee there's a lot of people in here that pull off baseballs a lot too. So for him, just thinking about hammering a fastball around the middle of the plate in the right center field gap kept him on the baseball. So that didn't mean he stopped pulling the baseball. Just he pulled it the right way. He stayed on the baseball, and he's pulling the ball like this instead of flying open and doing like that. That is the perfect example of like his funnel, his plan turned into he's hunting a pitch in the middle of the zone and trying to hammer it to right center field. That kept him on the pitches and was a plan that helped out. So if you're looking for a default plan, I would really highly suggest starting with trying to hit a line drive into the right center field gap. Some guys are trying to hit the ball over center fielder's head. Some guys will even rarely does it work, but there are definitely hitters that have like a pull thought, but it's usually like they're pulling a little bit to the pull side of the center fielder. They're not trying to pull the ball like down the line or over the left fielder's head. Does that make sense? All right, cool. Final one. See down there. Commit. We got to commit to our plan. We got to commit to our plan, and that's it. That's our final thought. Like when we get there, once we commit to our plan, like there's no plan B. I think everyone that's ever played the game of baseball in the history of their life, you've been in the batter's box where you're like, all right, give me that fastball. But if he throws a curveball, I'm going to be ready for the curveball. But also his change is not that great, so if he hangs his changeup, I'm about to smack that thing too. And then man, with that screwball I saw in between innings, maybe I better be ready for that. And then you're all over the place. And you're saying you're committed to the fastball, but you're really not. On the mound, same thing. Fastball. Man, should I be throwing a curveball right now? Or oh man, don't hang this curveball. Like we all know what that's like. So committing to the plan is huge. The strongest form of commitment is seeing what you want to accomplish. Like if you're on the mound and you're pitcher and we're back to our fastball low and away, if I can see myself executing this pitch, I see it, the ball flight I want, and then I throw it like there, really strong. If I see myself smacking a line drive in the right center field gap, like it's really strong way of like fully committing. Our minds are pretty powerful. They're pretty crazy. They did. There's this one study of bodybuilders, and they had them. They were kind of evaluating their brain waves, like what happens to their brain when they're lifting weights. So they're lifting weights. They see the brain activity, and then 2 hours later, they did the same study, and they just visualized doing weights. So they're still paying attention to their brain activity, and these guys are visualizing doing the weight training. And their mental, like the brain waves, brain activity was almost the exact same. And so like what they discovered is like our minds are really, really powerful, and we can trick ourselves really, really good. And beyond that, like we can actually get physical benefits from just mentally visualizing what we want to accomplish on the base, like in sports or weightlifting or anything else. So if we can incorporate a really strong visualization of our plan in this moment, it's a really strong way of reinforcing that and getting our mind like completely committed to it. Show of hands, who wants to learn more about visualization right now? You're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't, but okay, only 2 people. We'll come back. You can ask about that in the questions, and we'll dive in later. Okay, we'll keep moving. But okay, does this make sense? Any questions about the funnel? 15-second funnel. Party time at the bottom. All right. Question for the group: how do we know? How do we know if we've had a good game? What are a few ways that we can know that we've played well for the night, for the game? Huh? If we got hit, okay? If we got hits, knocks. Yeah, what do you... Stats, baseball card stats? Yeah, average for game, whatever. Great. What else? How do you know if you had a good game? Was consistency on the mound mean? Nice. If you can consistently hit your spots, how do you guys know if you have a good game? Huh? Good execution. Good answer. What does that mean? Be committed and execute. Really like that answer. Where'd you learn that? Huh? Cool. I love it. Okay, so what's your name? Johnny. All right, what Johnny said right there is like really profound. And this game of baseball is really, really hard. So I just want to preface everything we talk about tonight of it's easy to talk about some of this stuff. It's really, really hard to actually do it. With that being said, we've all pretty much, everyone that's played the game of baseball, you're kind of like pre-programmed to evaluate yourself off of stats. How many hits did I have today? How many strikeouts did I have? Did I give up any runs when I was on the mound? All those things. And the results are good. Like, I'm not saying that those are bad at all, but they're misleading, right? We can barrel up 4 baseballs and go 0 for 4, right? Our batting average goes down. Our confidence goes down a lot of times. Like, that possible. Same thing. We can be fully committed to a pitch. We execute that pitch. We all see that swing, hit a double down the line, and now 2 runs just scored, and and our perfect day is over. So at the most mentally tough players that I'm with, and a handful of guys on our big league team right now will text me after almost every game, and they will give me their funnel score for the day. So if you're a pitcher, you're a relief pitcher, you came in, you threw 20 pitches on the day, they'll text me like, Franco, I was 16 for 20 today. And all that means is I got to the bottom of the funnel where I was fully committed to my plan fully committed to executing my plan 16 out of the 20 pitches. And what we found over time is, like, if this is your grade, it's a way better report card than just pure stats. This is where this is where controlling what you can control comes out. And the ironic thing is, it gives you the best chance to get the stats and the results that we ultimately want long term. Same with hitters. On average, a big league hitter sees 16 pitches per game. So say, hey, Franco, I was 12 for 16 today, or 9 for 16 today. I was locked in, sold out to my plan. Those 5 or 6 pitches, like, I kind of got caught in between, or I wasn't ready for that first pitch fastball, yada, yada, whatever the case may be. If you start paying attention to this, I would highly recommend, if you want to be next level, like, write down after every single one of your games, like, how many pitches did I see tonight? How many did I get down to party time? Now, that doesn't mean I got the results. It just means I was fully committed to my plan, ready to rock and roll. If you start doing that, really good chance that your results start getting better and better, and it becomes a lot easier to move on from quote-unquote failure when it's all about how many pitches can I win. If I'm locked in and I'm committed to my plan for this pitch, I win. It's that simple. Now, if you're telling yourself you're 16 for 16 every night, or you threw 40 pitches and you were at 40 for 40, like, probably lying, and you need like higher standards is what it comes down to. Like, even like our best hitters are usually like 12 for 16 or 11 for 16 on good nights. It's really this game's hard, but the more we can focus on this, the better off we'll be. All right, do we have a bat anywhere? Coach Blaine? Sweet, thank you. All right. So how many guys have hit off a tee recently? All right. How many guys, while hitting off a tee, have rolled over a couple baseballs? And thank you guys for your honesty. That's a lot of hands. All right. Oh, this is perfect. Thank you. So we have 2 options. We have 2 options when we start rolling over baseballs and pulling off baseballs. Usually, most people, the first option is making a mechanical adjustment, right? What's one mechanical adjustment that we can make in that moment? What do you hear a lot? Stay through the ball. Don't pull off. Stay close. Get your hands inside the baseball. Like lot of those things, right? Those are mechanical thoughts. Those are called internal thoughts. How many of you guys ever play the game where you're like hitting a ball off the tee and you're trying to like pick out a target and you're trying to hit the ball either off the L screen or off the back of the cage or whatever? And you like usually when you're doing that, you're not thinking about all those different mechanical thoughts. You're just trying to do it, right? All right, we need another volunteer. Who wants to come on up? Yep, come on. What's your name? Griffin, thank you. All right, Griffin. 2 fingers on the knob, and I want you to look at your fingers the whole time, feel your fingers the whole time, just locked in on your fingers, see how long you can balance this bat, all right? Go. Are you looking at your fingers? You're not looking at your fingers, you cheater. Again, more Astro fans. Put it on, try it again. It's really freaking good. All right. Whoa. I spoke too soon. Really good. That was impressive. Kyle Seeger did that in the clubhouse, and he was so competitive. He was running all around, almost took out 3 people with concussions with the bat, doing the same thing, kind of like the bat flip you just did. All right, now we're going to do it one more time, and this time you can look at the barrel, all right, while you do it. A little bit easier? Do that for a while longer? Less struggle? Less hard? Yeah, now you're just showing off. All right, perfect. Thank you. What was your name again? Griffin. Awesome, thank you. Round of applause for Griffin. Nice work. Okay, guys, that is just one example. You can try this on your own with your bat later. But if you're focused on internal thoughts and you're focused on your body, your mechanics, it's really hard to be fluid and let the best version of yourself come out. It's hard for your best pitching mechanics to come out. It's hard for your best swing to come out when we're really focused on internal thoughts. And our body and our mechanics. The other version is when we're just focused on, it's called external thoughts. We're focused on something else. Is that bad? He doesn't like to talk. I'm just kidding. It's okay. When we're thinking external thoughts, we're just looking at something else. Then things become a lot easier. So for pitchers, external thought is the catcher's glove, the target that we're trying to throw at. External target for a hitter could be a sign on the wall in the right center field gap, like we were talking about. Something external. If we learn to practice that way, it's a lot easier for that to turn out in the game. Because when we get in the game, especially as you start moving up levels, we start getting, high school, varsity, college baseball, and professional baseball. When we get to these higher levels, it is impossible to have success when we're thinking about all of our internal thoughts. And when we got 90-mile-per-hour fastballs or 80-mile-per-hour fastballs or 100-mile-per-hour fastballs coming in, all right? So learning to get external with our thoughts is massive when it comes to getting to the end of our funnel and letting that second signature swing and pitch come out. All right? All right. Okay. Question becomes, like, how do we practice? How do we practice this? One is make sure that we're having external thoughts external cues, we'll call them, when we're practicing. Another way is actually making practice really hard. The game is hard. A lot of times practice is really easy. Or when we go play by ourselves, it's really easy. Couple ways to make it hard. In the Mariners, we're big on, we use like velo machines where we'll dial up the velocity on a machine and make it really, really difficult, where our guys have to really compete and challenge themselves to be really efficient with their swing. Sometimes we'll move our BP pitchers up close and have them throw a little bit harder, make it uncomfortable, but it's also game-like. AK, you want to talk real quick about what you did with your guys in the DR with mixed BP? Because I think this is such a good example. For you guys that don't know Austin Knight, he's one of my best buddies. He coaches here too, but He's run our Dominican baseball academy in the Dominican Republic for the Mariners. He manages over there. He's been a hitting coach and throughout our minor leagues. And last year, you started really experimenting with mixed BP. You want to talk real quick about that? Because I think really good experience, and could be something cool for these guys.
Yeah. We saw our best results towards the end of the season. And like he's saying, how do you make practice more like the game? And the easy thing to do is to get in there and feel good BP, do some flips, take a couple ground balls. But like you're saying, the game is difficult, man. So the more like the game we can make practice, the greater chance you have of being successful. So a very simple way to do that, and it gets frustrating and it's difficult, and I know all of y'all have done this before, but if you get your coach, throw your BP, and randomly throw your fastballs, changeups, curveballs, and just try to survive, that's as much like the game as anything to me, maybe more so than even a machine. The machine simulates velocity, but it doesn't simulate an arm, and it can't normally simulate random off-speed pitches, right? And have some fun with it. I competed with those guys every day. I say, try to beat me. I'm going to throw it hard at you. And you guys love to compete. They love to compete, and that's when we saw our best results. So it's really as simple as that.
Thanks, dude. That's awesome. Couple ideas for pitchers, too. We'll have some of our pitchers run sprints before they throw their bullpens, force them to be a little bit tired, to be out of breath, really have to breathe, have to lock it in, focus in the moment. One of my favorite pitching coaches I've been around is now in our big leagues. He coached with Austin a few years ago in the minor leagues. We have two mounds in our bullpens and have one pitcher on one mound, one pitcher on the other mound, and they'll play horse against each other. So you call your pitch, you call your location. If you execute, then the next guy has to execute. If he doesn't execute, then he gets an H, and we play back and forth like that. Anything to just turn up the competitive nature of practice and make it more like the game, like Austin was talking about. So along these same lines, just an example. So anyone ever been on a safari before, a real safari? Anyone ever seen a lion in the wild? So I have seen a lion in the wild, and it's pretty nuts. And I was over in South Africa. I was on a safari, and the guy that's leading the safari was telling me this story about like what lions eat and whatnot. So one of the things that lions eat sometimes, they're field mice. They're like little mice. Lions can catch them, fairly easy to catch, and they eat them. But the problem with field mice is it takes the lion expels like more energy getting it than the calories that he gets for eating it. So if the lion were to only eat field mice, which are really easy to get, he would starve to death over time, right? And a lot of times as baseball players, like, we just want to take whatever's easy. Like, sometimes we can only hit off a tee and it is what it is. But like, if we only take what's easy, it's not going to give us the nourishment and the growth that we ultimately need. Now, it takes a lot more energy for a lion to get an antelope, right? You guys have seen Animal Planet, and if not, Google that tonight. There's some pretty interesting videos out there. I did not get to see this live, but if you're going to get an antelope, it's going to take a lot more energy. It's going to take some mental energy. It'll take a lot more effort. But if you get an antelope, like, you're eating for a while, your family's eating for a while, your teammates are eating for a while. And if I could instill one thing in you guys tonight, it's probably just try new things and like try hard things. Like, push yourself. You are capable of doing way more than you think you are. Like, I can guarantee you that. There's a book I was reading the other day. It's called Living with a SEAL. This guy just invited a Navy SEAL to come live with him in his house for a month and said, I'll do whatever you want. Whatever you tell me to do for a month, I'll do it. And if I die, I die, whatever. And the first lesson that he did was like, all right, do as many push-ups as you can. So he maxed out on push-ups, dead, like laying on the ground. He's like, all right, now I think he did like 100 push-ups or something like that. And he's like, all right, now do 50 more. And it's the concept, it might have been 40 more. The concept was like, you can always do 40% more than like max. Whatever you think your max is, like, there's always 40% more in there. And what happens is when you push yourself and you do really hard things, you get in what we consider like hard situations in the game of baseball, and it's not hard because you've already done hard things. Like, you're used to it, and you're able to not just rise to the occasion, like you're just built for the occasion. There are very few players, especially younger players, that are able to do that. But I think it goes back to how you train, how you push yourself, and what you're willing to do. I didn't ask this earlier, but how many guys want to play college baseball someday? Pretty much everybody. Like, that's awesome. Like, playing college baseball is one of the greatest experiences of my life. I know it was the same for Austin. Like, we've been blessed in the game of baseball. We love what we do. It's a dream job. But if you truly want to play at that level, like, it takes sacrifices. Like, whatever you think hard work is, add 40% to that. And like, that's what other people are doing, and that's what it's going to take to realize like what it is to be at your best. Okay, that was a little tangent, but we're going to get back to our funnel for a second. So, beautiful part of a regular funnel, we pour water in and it comes out the bottom every single time, and that's the goal. But that's not reality, because like we said earlier, like, this is a really hard sport. So there are times where there are leaks in our funnels. We want to get to the bottom of the funnel, but there are times where we leak out the side. We call these traps. There are things that happen that get us away from the moment, get us away from being locked in. What are some traps for you guys that take you out of the moment, that get you frustrated, that get you riled up, and take you away from being the best version of yourself, completely committed to your plan? Umpire. Wait, you guys don't have amazing umpires down here? Well, they're not. We don't have amazing umpires. Gosh, am I on the camera again? To hit pause. We don't have great umpires in professional baseball either, so it's not going to get any better. It might get a little bit better, but that is definitely one trap that can get you out of the moment. What else? Bad hit. Bad at bat. Bad hit. Absolutely, 100%. We strike out. We go up to the batter's box the next AB. Those negative thoughts are lingering. That can take us out of the moment. What else? Huh? Missed pitch. Like, bad executed pitch. Hang a curveball, guy whacks it for a double, whatever the case may be. Absolutely. What else? What gets you so upset or flustered or make you not like the game of baseball? There's lots of answers, I guarantee. What else? How about something over here? Yeah. What do you got? No traps? Like, what bothers you on a baseball field? What gets you flustered from time to time? Yep. Teammates making errors, teammates not performing. You didn't say bad teammates, but that can be frustrating too. You know, you got a teammate you feel is not trying that hard. There are a million different things that can take us out of the moment. When we build a good funnel, like, we have a home base. We know where we can get back to. Like, without that home base, like, if we feel lost and things start speeding up on us and we got no place to get back to, we can't take a breath, get back focused on our plan, and get committed to that plan. Like, you're just going to be blown and tossed. That's where this player comes in. So keeping it locked in, understanding what the traps are. So you said umpires. I just told you they're not going to get any better. So if that's the case, then we can kind of, if we know that that's an issue. I'm not saying it's a huge issue for you, but what's your name? Jack? Jack? Huh? No, Jack. That's good. Yeah. All right, so let's say Jack goes rage monster every time umpire makes a bad call. All right, and it is just like, it is unbelievable. He's throwing equipment, he's freaking out, and we know that that's an issue. Then we can, like, preset what your expectations are going to be of umpires and how you're going to react, because you know it's going to happen. But it's just a matter of sitting down and say, okay, when this happens, I'm going to be immediately upset. Like I have no magic dust that like you're never going to be upset at all, but like immediate upset. But like it's that next second, those next 2 seconds that's going to define like how easy we're going to be able to get back into our funnel, into the moment. But we call it expect the expected. Like you play the game of baseball. If you're a hitter, you're going to strike out sometimes. So if we know that ahead of time, like, why should we get overly frustrated and completely, ticked off when that happens? We're a pitcher. We know we're going to give up runs sometimes. So when we give up runs, why would we let stuff spiral and get, out of control and all that kind of stuff? Understanding ourselves, understanding our traps. That's how we get better on the mental side of the game. That's how we have better awareness. One of my favorite stories was Dustin Pedroia. He was the Red Sox second baseman for a long time, MVP, little short guy with like massive pop and just like unbelievable attitude. And one of my friends got traded to the Red Sox, and I went down to spring training to stay with him for a couple days. First thing I wanted to know is like, what's Pedroia like? He's like, man, that dude, like, in reality he's like 5'8", 165. He's like, dude, that guy literally thinks he's 6'4", 250. Like every time, like the first day my buddy was with me, he said, hey, Dustin, do you want to go hit? He's like, hey, Sut, I don't go hit. I freaking rake. So if you want to go freaking rake, I'll go freaking rake with you, but I'm not going to go hit with you. And he was like dead serious. Like that was his mindset. That was his attitude. Later on that season, he was 0 for 16. And it's a Sunday night baseball game on ESPN, big game. I think they were playing the Yankees. Later on in the season, big moment, 11th inning, Pedroia comes up and hits a walk-off home run. So he's on the field doing the on-field interview with the reporter gal after the game. She's like, Dustin, you were 0 for 16. You just broke a huge, 0 for streak. You've been really struggling recently. How were you able to lock it in and hit that game-winning home run for the Red Sox? And he said, lady, I've been hitting lasers all over the ballpark this last week. I am dialed in. They just happen to be caught. Like I'm 0 for 16, but it's a hard 0 for 16, and I was just locked in, ready to go. This one just happened to go over the fence instead of in somebody's glove. And it's that perspective. Like he believed in himself that much that he didn't let those results we talked about earlier, that the fact that his batting average is dropping, he's like, man, no, I'm winning. I'm hitting line drives. I'm hitting lasers all over the place. I'm winning. And if I keep doing that, eventually good things are going to happen. And that's what it's going to come down to. AK, what time you got? Or Blaine? Perfect. Okay. You guys want an animal story or a pebble story? Animal story or pebble story? Animal, more animals. All right, let's go more animals. Okay. So I really like traveling. Like I like adventure stuff, and I've been fortunate to have a lot of cool adventures. So when you go to certain countries, there's weird animals. Like we talk about lions, and one of the weirdest animals that you can ever see is a sloth. Right? We've all seen pictures of sloths. We know what sloths do, and we've seen sloths. And so I lived in Costa Rica for a year one time, saw a lot of sloths, and ended up going back to Costa Rica a few years later this time with my wife and 2 friends of ours, a couple of friends. So one of my buddies and his wife. So we're in Panama this time. We're in the jungle, and this guy says, oh, hey, guys, there's a sloth up around the corner. Be careful. He looks kind of sick. And I don't know what a sick sloth looks like, but we want to see the sloth, but we don't want to get too close. So we go around the corner, and there's a sloth just chilling there. And my buddy's wife goes, all right, I'm just going to go pick it up. And I'm like, that sounds like an awful idea. Like, why are you just going to go pick up a random... Like, we're in the jungle. This is not like a zoo. This is not like a petting zoo. Like, we're just in the jungle. She's like, no. Like, I've picked one up before. And I'm like, where did you pick up a sloth before? She's like, well, when I was at a resort one time, this guy was charging $10, and then he would hand you the sloth and take a picture, and you paid him $10, and, the sloth was, super cool. And I'm like, I am positive that that's not the same sloth that like you were paying $10 to get the picture with, and I went pick it up. And she walked over there to try to pick this thing up, and like sloths move fast or slow? Slow, super slow, right? Like that's all we hear about them. This thing, like she got from like here to the chair. This thing just goes like that, like with his like little talon things. She freaked out, like ran down the path and left off on her way. And I say that because the game of baseball has been done a certain way for a really long time. Yet if we don't have a growth mindset, like if we get really stuck in our ways and we think like, man, this worked for me like 3 years ago, like of course it's going to work now. Like it doesn't always work like that. That's where your coaches come in and like picking the brains of the resources that you have around you. That's where talking to your teammates that you respect and you like, hey, what are you doing with this? How are you gripping this pitch? Just because this grip worked for me, when I was in middle school, my hands are bigger now. The fields are changed. I'm on a different mound. Like a sloth is not a sloth all the time. So too often we get stuck in our own ways and we don't get to the point where we have that, we call it that growth mindset, where we're open to new things, not trying everything, not like, being that guy that's always, new batting stance every single day, but like having that balance of being open to new things, to try new things, and then taking what works and discarding what doesn't work. A lot of animals today. Thank you. Okay, we're going to open it up to questions right now. I'm going to hit 2 questions real quick from last night for some of the guys. And we just touched on a little bit about teammates. Like, what do you do if you have a teammate? I would just say like a bad teammate. That's tough. It's always hard. The best thing you can do is get to know him, so then you have a better idea of how to address it. Like if it's your best friend, like if Austin and I are teammates and we have the same relationship, like I have no problem calling him out, just like a brother or someone like that. And sometimes like that's the best way to handle it. It's like, hey, dude, your body language stinks. Every time like you're having a bad game, you are just like sulky McSulkerson on the end of the bench. Every time you get a couple of hits, your top step, like, it's just not cool. Like everyone sees right through it. Like, be better, or let me help hold you accountable. If you don't have a relationship with that guy, like it's really hard being especially in this environment, like if you're, new teammates or whatever, like it's hard holding him accountable. And no one loves like getting approached like, hey dude, you're an awful teammate, like clean it up. So it's just a balance. It's setting a good example, setting standards. Like if the entire team does things a certain way, usually everyone will kind of fall into place. But then ultimately, like, I hate when guys say like it's a coach's responsibility, because like coaches can help, but like it is way more effective if the team is on board with like, hey, this is how we want to play, this is how we want to act, and like these are our standards, and then you hold each other accountable. Coaches are there to help, but if you can be the driver, like be the driver. Like everyone wants to have fun and enjoy the season. Make it a good environment for everybody. Second question. How to handle an injury. Injuries are tough, man. It's super cliche, but like one day at a time. Anyone in here dealt with like a big surgery or anything? Hopefully not. That's good. We got a broken hand over here. Yeah, it stinks and it's frustrating not being on the field, not being with your teammates. But it's that balance of when it's time to work hard on your rehab, like work hard on your rehab. When it's time to rest, like rest really well. When it's time to get back on the baseball field, play your tail off and go from there. So, all right, those were the 2 questions left over from last night. I will open it up to this group. I will call on you if nobody's asking any questions. But yeah, what do you guys want to hear about? What did I skip? Anything interesting that you guys want to dig into a little bit more? Was that a hand raise or just a head scratch? Oh, careful. Bad timing. I almost called on you. I might come back to you anyways. All right, guys. What we got? Yes, perfect. Yeah, I know, but he got away with it the first time. I can't let two people get away with the fake hand raise. Any question? Anything you want to know more about? Anything that didn't make sense tonight? Or made a lot of sense? I'm going to come back to you. I'm not going to let you off the hook. All right. Who's got a question? Mm-hmm. Visualization? Yeah, we can visualize. Okay. How many of you guys raise your hand if you've visualized before? Okay, that's kind of a lot. So a lot of times it sounds kind of intimidating, sounds kind of foo-foo, and I get that. But visualizing is simply just like watching a movie in your head, closing your eyes and watching the movie in your head. We're going to go through a quick visualization exercise right now to kind of give you guys that baseline, and then you can take it from here. So when I say go, not right now, but when I say go, you're going to close your eyes, and if you're a hitter, whatever you feel like your ideal plan is in the batter's box, if it's a line drive up the middle, think about the last time you hit a line drive up the middle in the game. If it's a line drive in the opposite field gap, last time you hit a line drive in the opposite field gap. All right, think about that. Now, the pitchers, you're going to think about, let's just start with fastball. Last time, well-executed fastball. You hit your spot, had a good result. Might be strike three, might be a swing and miss, might be frozen pizza, whatever it is. All right, everyone kind of have their exact swing or the exact pitch that in their head. Okay, what's your name? Thomas. Thomas, hitter or pitcher? Hitter. What's the at bat that you're thinking about that you're going to visualize? Okay, did this actually happen? Okay, that is ideal. All right, no, this is good. That's why we're asking questions. When I'm talking to Austin's team, like these same things happen. Okay, I want a real last time you really hit the ball in the right center field gap. Who's thinking about it? I want everyone to think about an actual time that this happened, because it's going to be a lot easier to see that movie. Who has a real at bat in your mind right now? Oh boy. Nobody hit line drives up the middle or in the right center field gap ever. Somebody who raised their hand over here. Yes. Okay. Where were you? Huh? Okay, you went Oppo. What field were you playing at? Okay, one of the high schools 2 weekends ago. Right-handed pitcher or left-handed pitcher? Left-handed pitcher. What was the pitch he threw you? Fastball away. What'd you do with it? Hit it down the right field line for extra base hit. How did it feel coming off the bat? Solid. Love that. Okay, so the more detailed we can be with our visualization, the more impactful and the more value it's going to be. Back to that, the weightlifting guys, like they didn't just like close their eyes and like, okay, yeah, weightlifting, cool. No, they were like dialed in, like they put themselves in the moment. They like clapped their hands like they were in a, like they were getting ready to pick up the bar, or like whatever the case may be. So the more, if we want this to have as much impact as it can have, I want to be as specific as possible. So when I say go, I want you to close your eyes and see yourself hitting that ball how you want to hit it, or throwing that fastball that you want to throw 3 times. Now, a couple quick things. I didn't say go yet, so don't close your eyes. Couple quick things. We want to make it as real as possible. We want to make it as like game-like. Don't rush through it. So like in a game, it's going to take you a few seconds to get locked in, get your wiggle in or whatever. And so see yourself kind of getting settled and then executing. And then So you guys know on like phones and computers, you have like the brightness. You can like turn up the brightness or like dim it down. I want you guys, whatever TV screen you're seeing when you're watching your movie, I want you to turn up the brightness. So get it like more brighter than normal. All right. And then the last thing, I'm giving you guys way too much right now. I realize that, but the last thing is when you execute that pitch or you square up that baseball, or you hit it solid, like let yourself feel good. All right. It feels really good to do that. Like let that emotion be a part of it. All right. Let's give it a whirl. 3 times, 3 hits, three executed fastballs. Close your eyes, set, go. Okay. Cool. I did this one time, and a mom closed her eyes in the back row, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. I bet she played softball. And then when I said, open your eyes, she slept for the next 30 minutes. So either she was like super deep in visualization or she was just tired, probably tired. Okay, guys, that is your baseline for visualization. Like, I think it'd be awesome if any of you guys like it. It's definitely something that can be beneficial and helpful. 5 minutes before you go to bed each night. See yourself executing that pitch, executing that swing. As the season progresses, as you guys play these tournaments in the upcoming weekends, like you hit a ball in the right center field gap or over the center fielder's head, like maybe that becomes your new visualization swing that you see over and over because it's easier to feel those emotions and to put yourself in that moment because it's more recent. All right? It's your fault. You unlocked all that. But, all right. Any other questions? Parents included, anything about anything? Blaine, you got anything?
Last night you talked about maintaining positivity whenever there's you barrel it up and then still staying positive when the blooper falls. Yeah. Opposed to always keeping a negative mindset.
Yeah. So, in general, our society, most of us, like, I think there's one study that says most people have like 9 negative thoughts to 1 positive thought. I think baseball players is probably closer to like 900 to 1, like as a default, because like this game, like we said, is hard. There's a lot of things that go wrong. And there's just so much failure included in the game of baseball. So it's really easy to live on like a super negative side of things. I like the analogy of like we have a negative wolf and we have a positive wolf. Whoever we feed more is going to be bigger and stronger. And then in those big moments when we want to choose if we're going to be positive or negative, we're not going to choose. We're just going to be whatever wolf is bigger. That's who's going to win in that moment. And that's when, if you've ever felt like, man, I'm super negative and I know I'm negative and I don't want to be negative, but I'm still like having these negative thoughts, like that's because your negative wolf is getting like really fat and getting fed a ton. So how do we feed the positive wolf? Like, it doesn't happen by accident very often. Like every once in a while you'll meet someone that's like super positive and it's easier for them, but most likely you have to work on that. So your self-talk, how you talk to yourself, a big one. Visualization can be a great way to feed the positive wolf. Practice is a good way to feed the positive wolf. And then, daily affirmations, like that also sounds a little foo-foo, but also can be really effective for some people. Just writing down, my name is Austin Knight. I'm a great hitter. When I get in the batter's box, I trust my swing. I trust my plan. I trust my eyes. I'm the man. whatever, something like that. I believe yours was something like that. Something like that. If any of you guys don't know Ricky Henderson, he's a Hall of Fame baseball player, like one of the, the best leadoff hitter, most steals in Major League history, and one of the coaches that Austin and I coached with played with Ricky Henderson. He said literally before every single game, Ricky would look in the mirror at himself and he'd say, "Ricky, you're so good. Ain't nobody gonna get you out today. Ricky, nobody gonna get you out. Nobody gonna get you out. You're the best, Ricky. Ricky, you're the best." And then he put on his uniform and go out. And like that sounds silly and it's kind of funny, but at the same time, like he believed it. That's what he needed to do to get locked in, to feed his positive wolf and go out and compete at the highest level. But we talked about when we talked earlier about like Pedroia's mindset when he's 0 for 16, and his confidence was still sky high because he was winning. Like he was getting to the bottom of this funnel, like he was winning pitches. Like that's what matters. Like if you're winning pitches, you're getting to the bottom of your funnel and you're not getting results, like stay consistent, like keep going, they're coming. If you are not getting results and you're all over the place, you're not getting to the bottom of your funnel, like then we need to get back to our process. We need to get back locked in and see how good we can be at winning one pitch at a time. Cool. Anything else? All right, I'm going to end on this story. Not about animals. Sorry. Okay, so I was fortunate enough to play college baseball at Miami of Ohio. It's a mid-major D1 school outside of Cincinnati, and loved baseball. Like grew up just loving. When I say love baseball, like I grew up in LA. My parents would make me go to bed in like the fourth inning of Dodger games. And I had stolen my dad's little radio. I put it under my pillow, so I'd listen to the rest of the Dodger games like every single night. Like that was my routine. And my parents didn't find out till I told them when I was in college. But so like loved baseball, and we had a pretty good junior year, and we're going to senior year, and we have a huge senior class. Like these are just like my guys, like the guys that stood up in my wedding next to me, my best friends, like just. Cannot wait for the senior year. We're favored to win the league. Like, it's so fired up. Now I'd had 4 knee surgeries in my first 3 years of college, so I'd kind of grinded through it. But it is what it is. Senior year doesn't matter. We're going for it. Coach calls me in the office in the fall, and he says, "Hey Franco, you're just not running as well as I need you to. This is really hard for me to do. I'm not going to cut your scholarship, but I have to cut you. So I want you to stay on and help coach, but you can't. Like you're not going to play this year. So, it's hard, but that's what we got to do." So that like crushed me. Like at that time of my life, like I was not ready to give up baseball, and it was the hardest thing that I'd ever dealt with at that time. So. I stayed on, I coached, I'm with all my best friends, and I'm coaching, and it's still frustrating, but I'm still going to 6 a.m. weights with them. I'm still hitting in the cage after practice just because, like, I missed it. Like, I loved the game of baseball. I just wasn't ready to completely give it up. And about 3 weeks less, like maybe like 2 weeks before the season started, Coach called me in his office and said, "Hey, Franco, I don't know why you're still working harder than most of the other guys. Some of the younger guys aren't progressing like I want them to. I need infielder that I can trust. Like I'm putting you back on the team. Play your senior year." So, back on the team, played. We won our MAC championship, went to regional at Texas and Austin. The one game we won was the best game I played my entire career and was player of the game and all that kind of stuff. But I don't say that to say like, "Oh, hey, that's really cool, Franco. You got like 3 hits in a regional game." I say that because if you guys are serious about the game of baseball, you want to accomplish big things, you want to play at the next level, you want to get a college scholarship, you want to maybe play professionally someday, there are no guarantees in the game. You can do everything I talked about tonight. You can work your tail off. You can outwork everyone in this room, and there's still no guarantee that you're going to get to the level you want to get to. But I can guarantee you that if you work your tail off, you do everything that you possibly can, you learn from everyone you possibly can, you take advantage of the resources that you have, you will. I do guarantee that you won't have any regrets. And like that's the only guarantee that is honest, and that has to be enough. Like, the game doesn't owe anyone anything. It's an awesome game. It's a beautiful game. I love it like crazy. It's what I do for a living, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But at the end of the day, like, when you lay your head down on your pillow, did I get after it today and give myself the best chance to succeed? And if you did, then you're going to be able to live with whatever happens. So that's all I got. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for locking it in. I don't think that's 5 hours, but I really appreciate you guys dialing in. And any questions you have, anything else I can do, send them to Blaine. He'll get a hold of me, and I'm happy to help any way I can. So thank you guys.